This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
A show is as intense as the name sounds, but hey, we're human, so we always look for the light side and the happy side and the soft side of things. So the show is going to be a combination of all of it, hard and soft today. Welcome to the show. We'll start off with the roundtable, looking at some of the big stories driving conversation in the country. And today, being the 22nd of March, is World Water Day. How important is water to you? I hear someone say, water is life. You're correct. We'll be looking at the theme for this year and the importance, and some very important conversation will come up at the 5 o'clock. I would have a guest join me from... I will confirm that from UNICEF. I know it's coming from UNICEF, the wash arm of it, and would have a great conversation and take our eyewitness report much later. Yes, I see all of you waiting, and some people have already logged in and seen that Dr. Majeed is here. I'm like, yeah, he's all right. He's here with me. We've got Dr. Majeed, Dahiru, researcher, analyst, and columnist with us here in the studio, and he's the tech team lead of Luke's Terra Leadership Foundation. Dr. Majeed, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much, Oracle, for having me today.
Thank you so much.
And good afternoon to our beloved listeners.
Oh, yeah. A good number of them have been waiting. Says, I heard Dr. Majeed is here. I took a deep breath and adjusted my seat and ready to listen to the master himself.
Oh, my God.
Good afternoon, you guys in the studio. May God grant you a perfect day. Michael Lord, Reverend Father Alia's son. Okay, from Benue State.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a very long way.
Congratulations on the victory of our
It's
own.
going to be yes, Father. All
Yes,
through
I'm
Benue
telling you. I'm
this
expecting good governance from him, too.
It will be rather
Righteous
disappointing.
governance.
That's more like it. It needs to just be righteous and holy.
Yes.
It needs to be so outstanding in a way that people will say, maybe we need men.
Men of God. More
Exactly.
To come into
But we've
office.
had one man of God. I think was it Jolly.
Johnny Gami was a reverend.
Was a reverend, but not
father.
not-
But I think they only had one reverend at one time, too. Was a reverend father,
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I think Benue. Yeah.
too. Yeah, anyway.
Interesting.
Yes.
Oh, well, the governorship election has come and gone, but not gone completely, because there are still some states that are inconclusive in terms of their, they haven't announced it. Taraba is inconclusive. Kebbi is inconclusive. We're still
Adamawa.
waiting on Adamawa. Adamawa is what I meant to say, not Taraba. Taraba has been concluded already. We know who won for Taraba.
Yes.
But Adamawa inconclusive,
inconclusive. And
Kebbi
Kebbi.
State. Abia State, we're still waiting for
I think
update.
They just announced now. INEC just issued a statement now that they will resume collection today
Okay.
in Enugu and Abia, so they can announce the winner.
All right, then. So it looks pretty much put together, and so far so good. I just want to look at some of the list of how the states emerged. For the ones we have their results, so for about 15 of them, Yobe State, Ogun State, Gombe State, Jigawa State, Kwara, Lagos, Sokoto, Nasarawa, Katsina, Kaduna, Benue, Borno, Ebonyi, Cross River State, Niger State, all have been formally announced. So we're still waiting for okay, all of these states are won also by the APC, or 15 of them. And state won by the PDP are Akwa Ibom State, Oyo State, Bauchi State, Rivers State, Taraba State, Zamfara State, Delta State, Plateau State have been also formally announced and won by the PDP. The states that are left for us to get an update, we'll be waiting with bated breath to see how it pans out and how it plays out. But so far, so good, Dr. Majeed. The last time you were here was before the governorship election. It has come and gone. What's your overview?
Oh, the governorship
Assessment,
election.
yes, of how you played out.
Okay, first thing first. for those who thought that the February 25th presidential election was the worst in Nigeria, I'm sure what happened during the gubernatorial election of March the 18th clearly shows that that may not have been the case. And that was why some of us didn't quite condemn in totality the presidential election, because we knew that what happened over the weekend is possible in Nigeria and would have been possible in the first election. And that was why, for example, some of us concentrated more on the gains, and we did a realistic analysis of the outcomes and said, okay, this may not be perfect, the processes may not be perfect, but somewhat a statement has been made. Of course, you saw how tight the race was, and you saw how upsets here and there took place, and, you know, it sort of jolted the establishment to some level of reawakening too, to say, look, Nigerians can do this and they can do it again. So, to that extent, I think the presidential election was a bit more, you know, was not just a bit, far better than the gubernatorial election in so many aspects. However,
maybe not so much in the aspect of uploading the result, the IREV. Like you
see,
because obviously, INEC tried to improve on itself in a good number of the states.
I wasn't very particular about the IREV uploading. Look at Lagos, for example. Well, they didn't upload it into the IREV viewing portal, right? But you can't compare what happened in Lagos on the February 25th and what happened in Lagos on March 18th when results were uploaded. So, look, knowing how Nigerian elections actually happens, I wasn't so focused on that failure. I was looking at the outcome. The fact that, yes, you didn't transmit results as you were supposed to have done. But I noticed upsets that if those that were defeated in some of those places had a choice, they wouldn't have allowed it to happen. So I was focused on that. And I was trying to say, look, we need to count this as a major gain and consolidate on it while, you know, interrogating the entire processes, including the failure to transmit results. This election, results were transmitted. But look at what has gone on in the states. I mean, a state like Abuja is taking almost forever to announce the results. Look at Enugu. Then look at what happened in Lagos, for example. I mean, it's something
okay, just to jump here, Kaduna State, where it was even uploaded, they say, okay, we're going to work with manual, not the uploaded one. So, you have another state. So the discrepancies.
Look, I wasn't so focused on that. That does not mean that I shouldn't have done the need from. Just saying, look, I looked at that first election and I realized that, okay, knowing how Nigerian elections can be, that, okay, this was... Okay, there was something significant about this election, despite its imperfections. Look at what happened in Lagos, for example. I mean, that was tragic. It was.
Which aspect of what happened in Lagos are we talking about?
Profile. Okay. It's something that we need to really interrogate. First and foremost, what happened in Lagos, usually, I will tell you, is something that sort of happens every other place. But, the way and manner it happened in Lagos, and Lagos being the home state of our president-elect, is something that we should not just let slide by without making some interrogations with a view anyway, to bringing a closure to that sad episode in our lives and probably bring healing. But it has to be interrogated so that it does not reoccur again. And this is very important. The level of xenophobic attacks against a particular ethnic group in the face of what has been described as some commentators as growing Igbo-phobic statements in Lagos manifested violently on that day. And we saw Nigerian citizens who were denied their rights to decide, their right of democratic choice of who governs their state, where they are resident. We saw them being rendered as outsiders inside their own country, in a country that's supposed to be citizens. Somebody is telling you that because your ancestors didn't originate from this place, you have limited rights. And let me tell you what makes it very dangerous. A piece of fake news, a blatant, outright lie, was cooked up somewhere. The people who cooked it up managed to convince many people to believe it, and ended up believing it themselves. You know, when you tell a lie and believe it yourself, it's a tragedy.
When you tell it for too long, it begins to sound like the truth.
It was typical Goebbelian propaganda that was propagated with fascist precision to achieve a predetermined aim or outcome, and which was to demonize a whole ethnic group in an election. You see, this thing that happened reminds one of what happened in Nazi Germany, when the Jewish people of Germany were dehumanized, were blamed for all the woes of Germany, and it eventually ended up in a Holocaust. The same thing we saw in Rwanda, when the Hutu-dominated government of Rwanda decided to stigmatize an entire ethnic group, the Tutsis, and it eventually led to the genocide. And these two incidents and many others, like the massacre of the Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar, has certain common denominators. Number one, these criminal activities, this crime against humanity, happened in a manner that suggests tacit support from the state, because security agencies stood by and allowed this to happen. No arrest has been made as we speak. Nobody's going to be prosecuted. We saw an MC Oluomo who made a statement to the effect of what happened on Saturday, and the police authority came out to tell us it was just a joke, and that if anything goes
Well,
beyond
that's
that,
because the MC Oluomo himself put out another video saying it was referring to a particular woman who is familiar with.
That was a gimmick. And now that it has happened, why is MC Oluomo not in detention, being prepared for prosecution? Why? And some other people who made such inciting statements. Why is Bayo Ononuga, the information manager of the president-elect as we speak, why is he still working free when he treated one of the worst form of hate speeches I've ever seen in my adult
Which
life?
of them?
The one he talked about the Igbos.
Okay, not being
interfering.
interfering in the
And
politics.
then that this should be the last time. And that Lagos is Yoruba land. Just like, look, why I said this was a lie was nobody in this campaign, throughout in this campaign, either the candidate of the Labour Party in Lagos or the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi himself, or obedient movement, nobody ever, I didn't see a single tweet from them saying Lagos is a no man's land. I didn't see it.
Or maybe some average person would have just put it up who is not high up there in terms of the
Then
campaign.
you cannot use
Because
it
it's
now,
always been a growing line that Lagos is nobody's
That
home state. It
conversation
belongs
took
to the
place
entire
when
country.
Lagos was the federal capital territory of Nigeria. And there was a move to incorporate Lagos territory then into the Western region of the First Republic. It was even for the independence of Nigeria. And some people insisted that Lagos, that territory that is the federal capital, is a no man's land. So it shouldn't be part of any of the regions. It should be independent. That was when that issue came up. But when Lagos was then incorporated into a Lagos state that formed part of the western part of Nigeria, that agreement went dead because the federal capital was now shifted from Lagos to Abuja, effectively by 1976. And people began to prepare to leave Lagos to Abuja. Look, an ethnic group like the Igbos, and it's important we address this issue, an ethnic group like the Igbo people who live in Lagos, who actually even take their dead home to bury where they come from, who actually go home every Christmas to celebrate with their kids and kin, people who build their first mansion in their villages first, before building in the cities, cannot be accused of attempting to annex somebody's land. I've never heard of any situation where Igbo people took up AK-47 and entered people's lands, displaced them to build spare part markets or electronics markets. I've not seen. When an Igbo man comes to a community in Nigeria, he rents, he leases, or purchases his business premises or residence. And they abide strictly by the norms and tradition of the people. So to castigate an entire group in this manner is something that shocked me.
Well, like some of them would say, politics is a game, and that was one strategy they had at that point in time.
I'm blaming Igbos for supporting Labour Party was an unfair generalization. The people who voted for Peter Obi in Lagos are not only Igbos. Igbos alone could have made Peter Obi to win Lagos. The people of Lagos from all ethnic groups simply voted for the person they felt will serve their interest more. And if they were going to do the same thing in the gubernatorial election, the person contesting for governor in Lagos was not an Igbo man. He was a Yoruba man and a Lagosian proper. So why did this thing happen? And unfortunately, yes, the president-elect had just released a statement condemning what happened in Lagos.
Oh, yeah?
That statement came a bit too late. And I think it should go further. My advice is this: the healing should start now, if indeed he intends to heal this country. And my advice to him will be...
You know, we had that conversation yesterday, so we'd love to hear what your advice is in terms of how to...
First thing first, a figure like Bayo Onanuga should have no place in his government. He has made himself such a divisive figure that if he's appointed into the capacity in government, it will mean that the president has endorsed that tweet.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. We'll take it up from there.
Africa International Spelling Leaders 2022.
The news, like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
Audio Jungle.
I keep my sunny side up so they can see me from above. I keep my sunny side up. No more running from the love. No more, no more. I keep my sunny side up so they can see me from above. I keep my sunny side up. No more running from the love. Yeah, hey, pour me up some OJ, have it fresh squeeze, sizzle up some pico and some bay leaves. Make sure that
This is Nigeria Info.
The presidential candidate of the PDP is saying it's a little hypocritical to call for healing process if arrest of actors who were seen to be making certain ethnic slurs are still pretty much walking the street. So you were trying to give, some recommendations on how the healing process
and
can
let me
happen.
say, I think I agree with Atiku Abubakar. I know I'm able to be a pan-Nigerian to the core. In fact, I credited Asiwaju himself and Governor Sanwo-Olu, a man I've described severally as a gentleman Democrat. In my opinion, Sanwo-Olu is one of the best governors of the Fourth Republic in terms of democratic disposition and his gentlemanliness. I actually give them credit for the successes of Obi in Lagos. You know why? Because it was due to that democratic disposition that Obi could win Lagos.
I don't understand that.
That is what happened in Lagos on the
25th of February.
What happened rather on the March 18 gubernatorial election could have happened on the 25th. The disruptions, the suppressions, the ethnic...
No, but it's possible because they were blindsided also. Some would say perhaps they just didn't know.
No, what I'm just simply saying is the conduct, that gentlemanly conduct we saw in Lagos that allowed people to come out freely, vote, and their votes counted, is something I also give them credit for. That is, look, they could have done the same thing then. So I give them a lot of credit. And let me tell you the truth. A lot of even those who supported Obi in the presidential election, we are already switching their support to Sanwo-Olu. You know why? Sanwo-Olu has been one fantastic gentleman as governor, who is a unifier. Let me tell you something. Sanwo-Olu, for example, has always displayed his capacity as a governor that can be a governor for all Lagosians. And he prides Lagos as home for all. Let me also make this point very clear. All that I have enumerated is not in any way to remove the rights of Nigerians, whatever they choose to decide, and participate in politics freely. No. Lagos is not a no man's land. But Lagos, like Anambra State, like Ebonyi, like Imo, like Enugu and Abia, is an all-man's state. All-man's state here means a state of all Nigerians that are resident there because they are citizens. And those Nigerians, whether they are Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Kanuri, Efik, whatever you call them, have rights, inalienable rights, undeniable rights under the Constitution to vote and be voted for. What do I mean? An Igbo man has a right to vote for a governor of his choice in Lagos if he's resident there and pays taxes there. And Igbo has a right to vie for the governorship of Lagos. In the same man has a right to vote and even vie himself or herself for the governor of Anambra. So now, to reduce Nigeria's citizenship right on the basis of ethnicity and territorial, which is very dangerous. And a year or two, we're talking about identity politics here. What's identity politics? When you vote according to any groups or religious groups, rather than
saw that play out in this election. We voted
I don't vision Lagos as a point of contact. See, what happened in Lagos is not an elected case. It's a norm across the country. The only thing is, one, Lagos is Nigeria's most important state outside of the FCT. It was a former federal capital territory. It is and remains a cosmopolitan city with a lot of federal government presence there, with monies of all Nigerians being invested there. So what I'm saying in essence is this: nobody's in dispute of the Yoruba heritage of Lagos State. I don't think anybody, no Igbo man has ever described Lagos as Igbo land. And I'm saying the same rights that the Yoruba man has in Lagos, what the Igbo man has in Lagos, in the same way that the same right that the Yoruba man has in Anambra is what the Igbo man has in Anambra. That's what I've always said. That if you cannot be Igbo and Lagos, and cannot be Yoruba and Anambra, then Nigeria is not yet a nation. No. And our problems, as you see it, will persist, it will remain here. So we want to use this tragedy that happened in Lagos as a wake-up call to begin to build a nation. We need to have a united nation where people's citizenship cannot be reduced or elevated on the basis of ethnicity and religion. It is a very wrong thing to do. Now, on the question, a lot of issues arose, from this Lagos Boaha that needs to be interrogated. You have already said it on this program, that the concept of ethnicity, that I'm Igbo, that I'm Yoruba, that I'm Hausa, is a dubious artificial construct. Nobody is Igbo, nobody is Yoruba, nobody is Hausa.
Well, deconstruct it for us, because I still don't understand, because we have Igbos, Yorubas, and Hausa, as much as we have other ethnic groups
all
in the
ethnic
country.
Groups in Nigeria, as long as you are a human being, the only race in this world, the only ethnicity in this world is the human race and ethnicity. Secondly, even as black people, our race binds us together. And that was why in the same Lagos, some people that were Yoruba were prevented from coming to vote because somebody thought they were Igbo. You know what that tells you? There is no unique Igbo look. There's no unique Yoruba look, as long as you're a black man. As long as you're a black man. And our history has shown, for example, that we are all interrelated and descend from a common source. And the language we speak today, your Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, is just a language that is closely interrelated with Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, and all. Go and check all our languages. Check Igbo and Yoruba critically. They are interrelated. So it tells you that you simply speak a language of the particular location where you are born into or domicile. And to show that you are not an Igbo person, if you are born in an exclusive Yoruba speaking area in this world, you will never speak Igbo as a matter of birthright until you are taught Igbo by your parents. And if you are to show that you are not a Yoruba person, if you are born in Anambra today and nobody speaks Yoruba to you, the only language you will learn and hear is Igbo language. It tells you that you are not born as a Yoruba, you are not born as an Igbo man. The type of marks on your faces were given to you by your parents. You are born as a human being. The only thing that's natural about you is your black skin. You are born black.
Well, Dr. Majeed, don't you think this? Some people know this, but politicians will always want to leverage on what divides.
That's why we need to increase the awareness. For you to know that the day you point a finger at a fellow Nigerian or a fellow human being, because you think it's Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, you are pointing that same finger at yourself if you don't know. Let me give you even the history of Lagos, and it's not my history. It's important we know our history. I've advocated severally that in returning history back to the curriculum, what kind of history are you going to return? We need to retell our history. We need to retell our history in the manner that shows that before 1914, we were one people. Our ancestors are more civilized than us. people that lived thousands of years in this space are far more civilized than us.
How so?
It was interesting to know that in our ancestors' days, it was residency that prevailed and not state of origin, not place of origin. Our ancestors' time, they were that civilized.
Well,
And that is why if you go to that same Lagos, for example, let me give you the history of Lagos, a brief of it. Who are the aborigines of Lagos? You have two distinct groups of people. They call them the Egun people of Badagry and the Awori people of Lagos Island. The Egun people speak a distinct language that is not even Yoruba in nature, while the Egun speak a slightly varied dialect that is not exactly Yoruba in nature. These were the people that every other person met on ground. And then the Benis came and installed the king. The Oba of Lagos, as you say, is a Beni man. A Beni man from
in terms of
State.
the heritage.
Yes, they are descended from the Beni royalty, is what you say extended to Lagos. And then, some other people came from Ijebu, Owu, and other places to come into the same Lagos to form the community that you now see in Lagos. Most importantly, there were Africans, they were taken from most of our coastal cities in West Africa and ferried abroad to Brazil and Sierra Leone that were repatriated back home. Most of them found a place in Lagos. Some of them did not originally come from other Lagos or even Yoruba land for that matter, but they came back to Lagos that was the most cosmopolitan part of this part of the world. They became absorbed into the society and they became Lagosians, they became acculturated, they started bearing Yoruba names. You know why? Because Yoruba is the language of that environment. Yoruba. It is the culture of the environment. So they acculturated and became part of the Lagos metropolis. Monsieur Oluomo that announced this thing, this threat, for example, claims at the time to be part of the Oshodi Takpa family of Lagos. Now, the Oshodi Takpa family are descended from Bida. They are Nupes from Bida. Interestingly, nobody talked about it until he wanted to be the Oba of Lagos because Oshodi is the ancestral land of the Oshodi Takpas who are from Bida. And they tell you that, no, you're not one of us. That in fact, you are a stranger in this Oshodi. You are a tenant. You don't belong to us. You can't even invite to be Oba, not to talk of being the Oba himself. And so they denounced him and wrote petitions to the Oba of Lagos and wrote to the state government that they shouldn't try to give an outsider the Obaship of Oshodi. And they also said that after he was denounced as a member of the Oshodi family, he said he was an Awori man. So they now asked again that which of the Awori families in this Oshodi did you belong to? What am I saying? The man who announced that Igbos in Lagos shouldn't come out to vote is himself of doubtful origin, even in that same Lagos, by those who claim to be landowners in Lagos, who themselves had their ancestry in North Central Nigeria in Bida. And you know the most important thing of all? At the Chatham House parley between our president-elect, Aswaja Bola Tinubu, and some journalists, somebody asked him a question about this issue of his ancestry and origin.
Yeah.
He said, I'm Tinubu of Lagos, emphatically. And the man has a right to tell you who he is. You can't tell a man his own story. And for all intents and purposes, he's Tinubu. The history of the Tinubu family in Lagos is also a very interesting one. The patriarch of the Tinubu family of Lagos, a certain Momo Bugara, is of Shuwa Kanuri ancestry. I didn't tell the story. It is part of Lagos history. That is how our ancestors came together from Kanuri land, from Bida land.
So the essences of it were all interwoven, intermixed.
And they became Lagosians. Why are we not carrying this integration forward? Let me also shock you. I listened to an interview by the Oba of the Obi of Onisha. He said as Onisha people, they are Igbo-speaking people today. Onisha is like the heartland of Igbo land. He said they migrated from Ife through Benin to the current settlement. A migration that now ties Igbo people on this side to those that we call Yoruba people on this side. And when they were coming, they didn't come alone. That a group of Igala people from Ida, my state, crossed the River Niger and joined them and founded settlements in Anioma land, in Eka land, in Ndokwa, in Onisha, in Obaro, Uguta down to Ekwere. Meaning the Igalas, who also have their ancestry in Kwara Fajuku, have linked the entire Nigeria through this series of movements into a common source. Meaning that the person you are stoning in Lagos to think is Igbo, because his ancestor was in a place called Igbo land, may actually be your cousin or your brother you don't know, because we are all the same family. We need to retell our history so that we can begin to judge with each other as human beings. Tribalism is a manifestation of an animalistic instinct in human being that you must overcome. You are not yet civilized if you are tribalistic. If I look at a human being like me, as beautiful as you are, Kim, I'm looking at you now, and instead of judging you by the content of your character, and our shared interest. I'll be looking at that artificial ethnicity that they say you belong to. It is subhuman trait. That is why animals behave the way they behave. If you go to the jungle, the animal kingdom is the richest kingdom in the world. I'm sure you know. They have the largest land mass, both on land and in sea. They have everything you can think of, all the mineral resources in the animal kingdom. But the animals can neither drill for water, nor mine petroleum resources, nor even mine solid minerals. Because you know why? They are so disunited. They are working on all fours and living in the same environment. But they see themselves as too different to come together and have a conversation on how to exploit and exploit their own environment. So they fight each other for grazing routes. They fight each other for water.
Maybe they just created less than humans. And so
as a human being, you must live above that because we are not living too differently from the way they are living. That's why we are human beings. So I like your answer. They were created less than human beings. So as human beings, you must up your game. Tribalism will kill Nigeria if we don't kill tribalism. Again, this is not peculiar to Lagos. What we are preaching for in Lagos is applicable in Anambra. It's applicable in Onitsha, in Enugu, every other part of Nigeria. It's applicable. That is why I don't agree with Wike when he says River State is a Christian state. I say no. Because River State is a state for all Nigerians that live in there, Muslim, Christian, Ijaw, Shekiri, Hausa, Igbo. Yes. I don't agree. When a governor decides to install a religious law
there's
in
a lot of work, apparently, that we need to do to addressing all of this.
I extra for to commend the governor of Cross Rivers when they appointed that northerner, who is a Muslim, as a commissioner in the state. This is consistent with what I've been preaching. I saw this coming, and it could escalate. So why am I saying this? I have discovered that what enables tribalism and ethnicity is our wrong history that tells us that we are too different, that we are not one. So we need to retell and say, no, we are one. Our history suggests that much. Let me end on this by making another illustration. I've made it on this program before. Among the Igbos of southeastern Nigeria, those who call themselves Igbos, among the Yorubas of western Nigeria, and among the Iberians, where I come from in northern Nigeria, we have a common denominator for God Almighty, the supreme deity.
Okay.
The Yorubas call it Orisha, right? We call it Oricha. In northern Nigeria, the Igbos call it Olisa, meaning our ancestors called God by the same name. It tells you of our common source. And when we want to approach our ancestors, we do through a medium, where I come from, through, it is called Eva. The Igbos through a medium called Afa. The Yorubas do through a medium called Ifa. If you look at an Afa priest, an Ifa priest, or an Eva priest, they use the same instrument, they use the same procedure.
Maybe because we're all African.
We are all one people. I was at an event once. This is very interesting. I was at an event once in the Yaradua Center here. And Senator Kwemadu came in. And he was hailed by his Enugu people that were there. They started calling him Agabaidu. 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 I'm like, Agabaidu. Agabaidu is the praise name of the Ataf Figala in Kogi. Agabaidu is the royal praise name for the Ohimegi of Kutunkarufi in Kogi. Agabaidu is the praise name for the honor of Abaji in FCT. These are all northern Nigerian territories. Agabaidu is the praise name for the Ochi of Idoma. Agabaidu is a name that is used to specially praise our ancestors. If you go to a native doctor's place, if you go to an Eva priest in my place, and he's consulting the ancestors, he uses Agabaidu to praise our ancestors. What does this tell you? Our oneness. Our historians have a lot of work to do. Our social scientists have a lot of work to do. We need to bring this consciousness back to Abuja. Otherwise, what happened in Lagos is not particular to Lagos.
Dr. Majeed, you're making it sound as if it wasn't deliberate, knowing that all of these things, quite a number of knowledgeable people are aware of it.
You know I'm worried.
But it had to be a tool. Like taking us, no, Dr. Majeed, taking us back to where you said that element of surprise for the 28th.
Yes.
It's possible, both from the state houses of assembly high up there and whatever loyalists or supporters will say, what strategy can we employ? Because this wasn't the narrative during the presidential election. It only came up when we got to the governorship and state house of assembly. So it's possible a group of people would have thought, what's the best way to bring a bit of divide and rule and confusion into this?
The reason why that was successful in the first place. I'm not putting the blame on politicians. I don't have to take anything from them. I'm saying the intellectuals that supported this. Go and look at the tweets going around. Look at the write-ups around. People you think are professors, doctors, people you think are human beings are legitimizing and supporting what happened and justifying it as Lagos is Yoruba land. So you need to, we accommodate you. You need to respect yourself.
I think
nobody has said Lagos is not Yoruba land.
All right,
nobody's saying that. What I'm saying is, any land in Nigeria within this territory is an all man's land.
All right.
It belongs to everybody in Nigeria. And you cannot, and we should never support any idea, any narrative that seeks to reduce the,
All right,
the
Dr.
rights
Majeed.
of an Igbo man in Lagos and the right of a Yoruba man in Anambra.
Or the right of any Nigerian in any
For
part
that
of the
matter,
country.
anywhere in Nigeria.
So we need to have, future conversation. Perhaps it's something that to redeem some of the face for Nigeria. The next
not even about
government
the
or
face.
others would have
I
to
gave you the
look
example of the
into.
Yarima Kingdom. Do you know what Nigeria is indebted? Why Nigeria is not making any progress, not of good governance? It's because of this issue. You need a collective will of the people around a pan-Nigerian agenda for development to be able to guarantee security and welfare. Without which you cannot. So I'm saying this thing you are seeing has the major effect of underdevelopment. Any country that is like Nigeria has collapsed. Somalia.
Collapse in what sense?
Any country that has identity issues as well as Nigeria,
Okay.
where this kind of things happen, has collapsed effectively. Somalia is a case in hand. It was a group of clans. This city that collapsed Somalia. Imagine.
Well, let's
different
not
tribal
say
groups.
Nigeria has collapsed.
No, I
The
didn't say
the
it
reason we're
collapsed. I
having
said
this
any country
conversation
with-
is to
any
correct
country
some
with
of this ill.
issue has collapsed. Meaning, I don't want us to collapse.
All
Let
right.
us pull the brakes now. Look what happened to Sudan. Sudan had to go into two because Arabs in the north and black Africans in the south couldn't live in one country.
All right, Dr. Majeed. Let's get to read some comments. I think we stayed on this particular story, and I see how passionate you are with it because you've always been talking about our oneness, our unity, our ethnicity, and religious issues that have always been used over
To
the
divide
years
us.
to divide us.
So because
and I know that
because
it's
we're not aware. You see, Nigerians are accomplices of the things we provide. You know why? We're not aware.
So the proper education.
An average Igbo man does not know that the Igbo man is his paternal and maternal brethren. The same thing with the Yoruba man, he doesn't know.
All right.
We need to now know, we need to tell ourselves this
all right.
so that nobody will be able to divide us again and rule us.
Okay, then. Let's look at some comment. The time went by pretty fast, but the story started off with how governorship election was won and lost across 28 states. And then we sat on, this call for healing process. The presidential candidate of the PDP says it's a little hypocritical if certain issues are not addressed. And he did call for the arrest of MC Oluomo and others who were seen to cause a bit of tension or some violence in the state, actually, based on their utterances and profiling. Let's see here. Stuart Jacob says, after presidential election, they said the whole Lagos is no man's land. They will take over Lagos, all set of threat. Crying victims now because of the reaction. Fidelis Obi says, I like the way Kim is smiling as Dr. Majeed is dishing out her facts. God bless you, sir. Tim Paul says, Dr. Majeed, watching from Kubwa, we once had a father, Moses Osho Adasu, that gave us Benue State University, which is the first state university in, it says, northern Nigeria. Really? Not really. All right, then. So let's look at what we have on Facebook. Just came to see Dr. Majeed. Adebayo Abiodun, Clem says, good afternoon to Dr. Majeed. Ekunlaye Lanre, having a great conversation. All right, good to know you're enjoying it. Obi Ibada says, Tinubu. Okay. We will leave your comment out, Obi. Thank you very, very much for that. And Dr. Majeed is on point. The federal government should count on him for sanitizing the country if the federal government officials are serious. Comrade Efodu sent that one in. The Oracle, won't we stop the bleeding? As for me, it can stop when the president-elect is very vocal in acknowledging that the process isn't free and fair, like Yaradua. When the president-elect, if he can balance the selection of his cabinet, that perhaps would have capacity and integrity for more region, then the healing process will start. John from Niger State. We need to bring back history into our school curriculum. Yomi from Gariki is saying, quite agreeing with Dr. Majeed there. If, say, what MC Oluomo Bayo Ononuga, the president-elect media aide, did to Lagos, was done to, say, Southeastern state, would be dancing, there would be all kinds of dance, crocodile and python now. If the president-elect wants to make peace, he should call these two people for restitution. It should not good to throw stone in the market square. Chima from Life Camp. Dr. Majeed, please, who are you? I fear that you have too much knowledge. Okay, Charles from Kubwa. We have one more story to go. We'll take a phone call reaction to the two stories we've looked at, and we'll look at the next story. Call me up on 0700 951 00 or 0809 5974 869 or 0809 9930137. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, well done.
What's your name, sir?
I'm Joseph. I'm calling from Airport Road.
Joseph, you got 60 seconds. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I just want to say that, in Nigeria, it is worthy of note for us to know that we have not developed to some point politically. And therefore, we should take things easy. Nigeria is not America. If you find yourself in any location, any part of the country, I think it is advisable to behave yourself. Yes, we are all Nigerians. Even your fatherland, let's say you are in Osama, you are in Kano, you should behave yourself as a responsible.
What do you mean by behave yourself? Is it just maintaining law and order? What do you mean by it?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You should maintain the law and order. You don't do beyond, what is the method.
So what context is this? On what context are you saying this? Because we're looking at the fact that was any law broken in saying people want to vote in a place, or the law was broken when you deny people the right to vote in a place?
You can't deny people the right to vote anywhere. That is the right of the man. I think it's the civic right they call it. So in any way you find yourself, and that's why the government, it's up to us to government. Government should just rise up and do something.
All right, Joseph. Thank you very much. Let's hear another caller. What context are you saying? Hello? This? Because we're looking at... Hello? Oops. Sorry about that. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. You're welcome.
Yeah, my name is Collins. I'm calling from Abuja area.
Listening. Go ahead.
Collins, please.
Go ahead, Collins.
Yeah. Firstly, I want to appreciate the doctor in the house. He's fast and truly knowledgeable. I listened to him, and then the way.
Can you please turn off your radio? We're getting feedback from you.
Okay, let me do that, please. Just 1 minute.
You don't have a minute, sir.
Okay, the way he dissected. Hello?
Go ahead.
Hello? Yeah. I said the way he dissected the history of Nigeria is quite impressive, And I just pray that as many that have listened to him, we begin to understand that we are all one. There is no point of fighting each other. I just listened to him, when he talked about the people from Kogi to Onitsha, even to my own home place, Ubuta. I was so impressed because I have a bit of the history. And the way he talked about Lagos, it's time for us to understand that, look, it's just because of lack of knowledge, information, and also
all right, Collins.
The fact that the politicians are just using us to to get their gains.
Thank you very much. Let's hear you next. Hello.
Once again, good afternoon, Kimberly. Good afternoon, Dr. Majeed.
Good afternoon, sir.
I love the passion with which you are yearning for the cohesion, unity of this country. And as several other callers have, my name is Abubakar Ali, aka Tinubu Peking from PW Kubwa. I hope those close to the incoming president will begin to look at people like you. You have a very, very important and vital role to play in uniting this country. Sir, it beat my imagination that Kano State, where I come from, there are Igbos whose grandparents were born in Kano. Their parents were born in Kano. They were also born in Kano. But they cannot be Bakanos. And they were not known in Anambra or Enugu. So please, you need to emphasize, I understand that passion. A lot of people did not understand why that passion is coming from. I understand it. It hurts. And the same people who refuse to acknowledge that those guys are Kanawas like us will go to America and give birth to their children, and their children are Americans. Will go to UK and give their children, and their children are Brits. And they enjoy all what citizens in those countries enjoy. Please, sir, continue to emphasize it. And I hope those close to the president-elect will put this into utmost consideration by creating a special office for people like you to come and unite
All
this
right.
country. And lastly, sir, this issue of state of origin, local government of origin should be abolished. It should be state of residence.
All right.
I think when we begin to do that, and I condemn any act of violence on any people, anywhere they are in this country.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tinubu's son.
Yes. Let's hear another caller. We'll take this one quickly and go on a break. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. My name is Godfrey.
All right, Godfrey, you got 60 seconds.
As far as I'm concerned, there was no error in all that. Everything was synchronized and planned. Why did the security not do anything? Why have they, even up till this moment, not done anything? Don't forget that INEC insisted that Oluomo will be the person to distribute the...
No, INEC did not insist. Godfrey, let's not give misleading information here, please.
Okay. The thing is it that INEC didn't know when they appointed him to be the person, or it was a court that stopped this? So don't forget. Because they tried and tried, it didn't work. Well, when people complained and complained, it appeared as if INEC ignored the call before they went to court, and the court stopped them from using MC Oluomo. Is it that they didn't know that he was a supporter of Tinubu or APC? Is it that they didn't know? Even me and you here, we knew he was...
All right, Godfrey, thank you very much. We need to go for a break. We just be mindful of the information as to how you put them out so that we don't share misleading information. Let's go on a very quick commercial break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.